Our technology is space-based. It's in low Earth orbit, and it functions as a sort of replacement for a cell tower on the ground. It uses today's wireless frequencies, today's cell phones, and it's backwards compatible with the 5 billion plus phones that we use today around the world. So you are a user. Our partners in the U.S. are AT&T and Verizon. If you're a customer of one of them, have a plan with them, the phone in your pocket in the future will be able to access our satellite network in space. And so we have the technology and the patents to make that work in a way that was never contemplated before because space is so far away. But we have the technology in orbit. We just launched 5 satellites this week. And the size of our satellites allow us to connect to regular, small, low-powered cell phones.
In your view, Scott, does this replace cell phone towers? Should companies like American Tower be concerned?
Well, that's an excellent question and one we often get, but American Tower has actually invested in us twice. So we are designed to supplement cellular networks on the ground. Because of physics, terrestrial networks will always be best served people that are nearby. Our towers in the sky are over 500 miles away. So we are a supplemental coverage. When your phone is quiet and has no coverage or weak coverage, that's when we come in. And it makes a lot of sense for us because we have the ability to cover half the country with only one satellite at a time. So it's a very efficient way for operators like AT&T and Verizon and the other 45 around the world that we have agreements with, who collectively have over 2.8 billion subscribers. So we're really an extension of their networks, and we were designed from the beginning to complement their networks, work with their existing technology, and work with the phone in your pocket without you even knowing it.
All right, so supplementing, complementing, but at some point, couldn't it be that what you do be comprehensive? I mean, I think about Starlink, and they certainly seem to want to be comprehensive in terms of their capabilities. But I'm curious for you guys, American Tower might be joining up with you guys just to be prepared for kind of what's next and what might be the future rather than what they are doing currently.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, and it gets back to what the cell companies and the tower companies have created over the last couple decades, which is an incredible network that covers most of the population. There are spots that are missed, but today's terrestrial networks are very good. So we'll never replace that. It's just a question of physics. Our satellites are the largest ever put into low Earth orbit commercially. It's over 700 square foot each. We've been flying one for the last 2 years, and we just launched 5 more yesterday.
Right.
So we are going to be able to provide a lot of coverage from a satellite perspective.
What's a lot? What's a lot? When you think about people who are using, would need to tap into the service, 50%, 60%, 70%? What's a lot?
Well, we have the ability, you may be familiar with other satellite services that are starting to pop up on phones today. And those tend to be SOS, emergency, maybe some limited texting. We've tested 4G, 5G speeds to the phone over the last year, and that was a big part of the technical demonstrations we did last year with our partners AT&T and Vodafone in Europe and Rakuten in Japan. And so we've done over 20 megabits per second to the phone. But this is a supplement. Think about extra gigabytes to the phone, not your base package typically. This is an add-on for when you're moving in and out of coverage as you live, work, and travel, or importantly in the developing world, we have the ability to help really put a dent in the 2.5 billion people who don't have any cellular broadband access today. So it's really meant to be a supplement, but it is a large supplement, and that's why it's a cellular broadband network.
Scott, we said you want to compete with SpaceX, but you also rely on SpaceX. For example, yesterday, you launched 5 commercial satellites atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Explain your relationship with SpaceX here. And remember, SpaceX owns Starlink, so that's why we're talking about this.
That's right. And so what we're doing is very different from what Starlink and others have historically done, which is talking to a dish. We're standing up a brand new vertical within satellite telecommunications of going directly to the phone. And it's all about working with the wireless carriers globally. So we're not a closed system. We work with today's standard phones, which have been standardized globally and are really incredible, and we all benefit from them every day. So we're standing up a new vertical within satellite telecommunications that really looks and feels like a wireless network. And to get to orbit, to build that network, we're actually vertically integrated. We're based in Texas. We build our own satellites. It's an incredible core competency of ours and very very important to building any low Earth orbit network. So we build our satellites ourselves. And then in terms of launching that network, we plan to work with all the major launch providers globally.